Rivian is getting closer to launch by bringing out the configurator for reservation holders. Thankfully, some of those reservation holders know about the screenshot feature and are sharing them with the rest of us. Don't worry, it's not top secret information. In fact, I believe the configurator will be available for the public so you guys can mess around with the different options yourselves as soon as next week. But I just wanted to talk about some of the launch options now so that we have a clearer view on how much these vehicles actually cost and what options are going to be available when deliveries first start in June of next year. So apparently they're doing a limited edition release for both the R1T and the R1S, which are both very similar vehicles. R1T basically has a 4.5-foot bed versus the R1S, which has a third row option, which can be configured to be 5 or 7 seats. The R1S does cost a little bit more. It's starting at around $70,000, but that $70,000 model is not going to be available until January of 2022. The R1T starts at around $67,500, and deliveries for that will also not be until 2022. But the special edition, launch edition, as Rivian is calling it, is priced at around $75,000. And I do believe this is before incentives, so federal tax credit will bring that a bit lower. But I appreciate Rivian not showing the prices after incentives. It's better to just come straight forward and tell us what the purchase price is instead of trying to do all these math games of, well, if you factor in how much it would cost after this credit, and yeah, we'll do the crediting part, okay? Just tell us how much we have to pay you. And I like that at least in these configurator images we're seeing Rivian appears to be demonstrating the final purchase price. And this is the mid-tier battery pack. So everything they're unveiling so far has the 300+ mile range option, both for the R1T and R1S. They're promising over 300 miles of range, but not getting too specific because I'm guessing any EPA testing has not officially begun yet, but they're saying 300 miles worst case scenario. And all of these vehicles still have the 4-motor configuration. They're not hub motors like Lordstown, but that does allow for some cool features like tank turn and insane acceleration, which should achieve 0 to 60 in around 3 seconds, which is crazy to see on both a pickup truck and also a full-size SUV. The launch edition also comes with an off-road package, which apparently just uses some more durable material underneath the vehicle, and if you end up buying the base model R1T, that will be a $2,000 add-on. But if you're reserving the launch edition, it doesn't cost anything extra, it's included. And Rivian also confirmed that little cooktop setup, which gives you a little sink, a little stove, and should be really, really fun for camping, is a $5,000 accessory. So it is quite pricey, but I don't know, some rich people like camping, I guess, and that might be a fun option for them to be able to pull that thing right out from the vehicle itself, and it's powered by the truck as well. So very cool camp mode feature, but it's definitely gonna cost you. And some of the benefits of that limited edition model is that you get some unique colors. So there's lots of different paint options to choose from, and at least how I'm understanding it, reading about the configurator right now, it appears all of these paint options are at no additional charge. So whichever paint color you want to go with, that's included in the $75,000 purchase price. But I wonder if that's only for the launch edition. Once that is over and Rivian is in more mainstream production, that could end up going away, and maybe certain colors will cost extra. But apparently that special green option is a limited time only thing, so not everybody's going to be able to buy that color. Sort of how Tesla used to have a green Model S option. I don't know, just somewhat similar. And also the launch edition allows you to configure whether you want 20-inch or all the way up to 22-inch wheels at no additional charge. So whether you want more all-terrain based wheels or more sport-oriented wheels, you'll be able to choose at no additional charge. And this launch edition is very, very similar to that of the Adventure edition, both of which include heated and ventilated seats, customized interiors as well with different finish options. And that cheaper Explorer edition of the R1T will not have ventilated seats, but it will still have heated seats, and sounds like the driver and passenger seats will have motorized control on the higher priced Rivians, and maybe the back seat doesn't quite get that motorized control on the cheaper version. So that's just one aspect that they're taking some hardware out to help bring the price down. And the exciting part that's kind of easy to forget about is that R1S, that full-size SUV, deliveries for that are actually starting in August of 2021. So it's not really that far away. And the Explorer edition is around $70,000, but the launch edition is going to start at $77,500. So it's really not that much more expensive. And if you're the type of person that wants to fit lots more people in the vehicle, this is going to be a great way to do that. Still having a very similar design. It'll have the same interior and likely very similar seating with heated and ventilated seats, which is cool. Once again, you'll be able to choose at no additional charge whether you want want 20-inch wheels or 22-inch wheels or something in between, something that's better for all-terrain or maybe better for sporting. They're just throwing in the perks, I guess, to those who get their orders in fast. And this, I would say, may not be a very great Model Y competitor, but given I've seen some of the i1 Tesla videos about trying to fit a third row option in the Model Y, and it doesn't seem very practical. If someone wants a more full-size SUV, this is a market Tesla's not serving very closely. I would say the R1S could be some pretty decent Model X competition. Obviously, I think both companies can survive and do well. The car market's a very big one, but still, being able to go over 300 miles on a charge and have 4 motors and have great acceleration and have over-the-air updates. Oh, and also R1T and R1S come with Rivian's Driver Plus, so I'm very excited to see these videos get tested. But basically, that's their version of autopilot. It's going to be hands-free, apparently, and probably use cameras to ensure you're looking at the road, and the vehicle will be able to drive itself using a huge suite of sensors, some of which include LiDAR, which Tesla's known for not using, so we'll see if that makes a big difference. And Rivian even plans on collecting data from these Driver Plus miles and teaching a neural net to then improve Driver Plus in time. So very similar autonomy roadmap to Tesla as well, of course, just with a lot less miles mapped. And it's interesting to see that they're just including that by default with all their vehicles. There's no additional charges right now for a full self-driving upgrade or no Driver Plus Max or anything like that. It's just going to be included with every vehicle they sell at first. And if you consider after the tax credit, it's pretty close to $70,000. That's not too far off from where the Model X sits with somewhat decent range. Obviously, Tesla's going to have supercharging and those awesome Falcon doors, but for the more outdoorsy type and people who like camping trips and going off-road quite a bit, I think the Rivian could find its own little market to go off of, and I like the way they're handling it. I like their YouTube channel, how they're uploading footage of them testing, towing things in the extreme heat, and I've also been watching The Long Way Up on Apple TV Plus, and they've been using the Rivian R1T truck prototypes in that show. They ran into a few issues with them on that show, but they're literally prototypes. So either way, whether there's problems with the hardware or not, I think it's cool that Rivian's been actually using their vehicles out in the world and expanding the adventure network. Also, before you forget, Rivian is not using their own proprietary charge ports. They're still using CCS, so you'll be able to access the second most common electric vehicle charge network in the United States, right behind the supercharging network. And Rivian is adding to this network too, bringing charge stations way out to places where they think people are gonna be off-roading. And personally, I would love to test drive one myself. I think the interior looks pretty sweet. I'm always a big fan of more landscape-oriented displays. I would typically go for a bit more minimal, and I also think Rivian just gets a little too logo-heavy, at least with the prototypes I've seen. Companies like to slap their logo on the interior, the exterior, the brake lights, and the headlights, and after a while, it's just like, okay, we get it, you're a Rivian. Try to be a bit more subtle. And no, I don't think the R1T is gonna be big trouble for the Cybertruck, because obviously, to get the 300-mile variant of that, it's gonna be $50,000. But keep in mind, Rivian's gonna be hitting the market first, which does give them a little bit of a time advantage, and I think that for people who are not in love with the crazy Cybertruck design aesthetic, Rivian R1T could be a very compelling alternative, and I have a lot of faith in the company. I hope they can do well, and I hope they can bring these vehicles to market successfully. And definitely let me know if any of you guys have reserved an R1T or R1S yet. Have any of the unveiled pricings changed your mind yet? And to answer your question, no, we still don't know when the 400-mile Rivian is coming or how much it's going to cost. The website doesn't seem to unveil that yet. And also, they still have plans on releasing a sub 300-mile Rivian R1T that would be even cheaper, perhaps closer to the $60,000 price point, but they have not given us any details on that yet. So lots of configurations, lots of options to choose from. I would say for a non-Tesla EV, pretty decent pricing, definitely much better than the Hummer EV, and I'm very grateful that they're actually out in the field using these vehicles, driving them through the dirt, collecting data on them, and I can't wait to see some of them in person myself. What do you guys think? Feel free to let me know. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.